Connection Night. I am your host, Amy Bouchatz. I'm your host for the evening. I'm the founder and editor of Matsu Sentinel. Thank you. Which is your source for Connect the Dots local news. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for this innovative Candidate Connection Forum and Election Connection Night. We're going to have a chance to meet and hear from our local candidates for Matsu Assembly and School Board, and you're going to have a chance to share your thoughts on these subjects tonight that we'll present to you. And they're all around the hottest Matsu topic that I hear in my reporting in the borough, which is how our money and how our local governments spend it. So hopefully this is the most fun you've ever had talking about taxes. Okay? At least it's the best food you've ever had while talking about it, all right? There you go. Okay. So this event is entirely new format for you, me, and the candidates, and I really appreciate you trying something new with us tonight. Our goal for tonight is that you have a chance to hear from the candidates and that they also have a chance to hear from you. And I want to give a shout out to Hamilton Farms, 203 Kombucha, Bleeding Heart Brewery, and the Matsu Health Foundation, which have helped support us tonight with the food and drinks that we have here. I also want to thank Mike Malevsky and Big Cabbage Radio for streaming tonight. If your friends aren't able to be here, send them over to Big Cabbage Radio's website because they are live streaming our event tonight. And I want to thank Ailish Van for running our slides tonight, our polling. Okay, all of these things definitely make it more fun, so I'm grateful these folks are here. So I want to tell you just a little bit about the Matsu Sentinel in case you don't know what it is. I founded it last year because I saw a gap in local fact-based news, a gap in our valley, and I wanted to be able to fill that and to provide local news for you all. I've been in journalism for over 2 decades, and so I have lots of experience with this. Most of that time was spent at military.com for over 13 years, but I've lived here in Matsu since 2016. My husband is in the Alaska Army National Guard here. We've got kiddos in the local school system. One of them is up manning the table tonight. If he's young and looks like me, that's my kid, okay? If he disappears, he's working on calculus homework, he claims. Okay. Since we launched, we have published literally hundreds of stories. We published our 300th story this week. And their goal, thank you, and the goal is to help you in your daily life here in the Valley. So that's stories about road work, that's stories about local government, and that's things like our voter guide. We have voter guides up for our assembly and school board elections. We had a voter guide for the Palmer, Houston, Wasilla elections. And it's also through events like this, civic connection, and creating spaces where we can all connect with each other and hear from our local officials and learn more about that. The Sentinel finally is a nonprofit, and it's powered by folks just like you, by reading and contributing. So thank you. So as I mentioned, tonight we're doing something new. Instead of bringing the candidates to the front to answer questions in a traditional format, we are going to combine a chance for you to give feedback and a chance for them to tell you who they are, okay? Our program this evening has 3 parts. First, the candidates and Borough Manager Mike Brown are going to have 2 minutes each to tell you about themselves. Okay, so they're going to give you an introduction to themselves. You're going to get to meet them, find out who they are. Then we're going to flip the script, okay, it's in the title, for some interactive live polling and give you a chance to weigh in on how you think our local governments should be funded and what's important in our schools. And then give candidates and the borough a chance to hear from you on those subjects, okay? And all of this information that we are going to gather here tonight from you is going to be given to them so that they have that feedback up on a permanent basis. So I'm going to literally send them a PDF, okay? You should have flyers on your seats for how to use our live polling, and we have volunteers who are around whose only job is to help you do that if you're having trouble, so everyone should be able to hopefully participate, okay? Finally, we're going to move back to our candidates, and they're going to have a chance to make remarks, okay? So that's the goal, all right? Okay, everybody good? Okay, so let's kick it off. the very first thing, as I mentioned, is our candidate introductions. I think we have 8 of our 9 candidates here tonight. We'll find out if everybody made it here in a second, okay? The only person who didn't confirm is Mr. Brooks Pitcher. He's running for unopposed for the District 5 school board seat, which represents the KGB area. So there's no one running against him for that seat. Each candidate and Borough Manager Mike Brown has 2 minutes, as I mentioned, to tell us what we need to know. Okay? So please, candidates, raise your hand one at a time. Our mic runners will come to you. And because we know it's hard to keep track of time, all right? I've listened to most of you in some sort of a meeting before, okay? I know it's hard to keep track of time. Okay. We've got a timer to help you out, which Ailish is going to run for us, okay? The big timer, guys, okay? So who wants to go first? Yeah, we also have seats up here, guys. Lots of seats in the front if you want to fill in to the front here. Okay, so Stephanie is ready for a mic.
Oh my gosh, so many people here. This is kind of intimidating. So I'm Stephanie Nowers. I've lived in the Valley for 30 years, and my husband and I moved here in 1995. We lived in an off-grid cabin on a dirt road off Wasilla Fishhook. And then in 2000, we found a fabulous place just south of the fairgrounds on old Max Sherrod land. We've raised our 2 daughters here. They went to Academy Charter and Palmer High, go Moose. My husband works in construction, and I have my own energy consulting business. As far as my political principles, my background, so I grew up in a military family, 4 brothers and me, so bless my mom for keeping up with all of us. Our first cars were all jalopies. My dad made us learn to repair them. All our appliances were 20 years old because he kept repairing them. My mom still has the same dryer that we had when we were kids, and I don't even want to tell you how long ago that was. So I learned how to stretch a dollar. I learned how to be smart with money. I learned respect, hard work, all the values that we say I feel like we're about. And I also learned to serve your community. So a few years ago, we had a construction debris and asbestos dump proposed near our homes. It was about a 5-year battle. Can I bring those values to the things I do at the assembly level? I also bring my business background. I look for the biggest bang for the buck that we can get. And I really feel like it's a civic duty to serve. I don't do it for a paycheck. I don't do it as a stepping stone. I've opposed all measures to raise assembly salaries because of that. And then I would just say we have a lot of big issues in front of us. I'm looking forward to hearing them tonight. Crime, homelessness, we're trying to manage growth. It's really important to have somebody up there who's going to dig into the details, and that's what I bring to it. If you call me and you need help, I'm going to listen to you, even if you're yelling at me. I'm going to listen to you. So I'm looking forward to hearing everything tonight and appreciate this opportunity.
Sorry, guys. It's innovative. Okay. Okay. Who wants to go next? Dina, you're right here in the front. Michelle, do you want to give Dina the mic? Thank you.
All right. My name is Dina McCarg. The H is silent in its pronunciation. It took me forever to learn, but Dina McCarg. I'm running for School Board District 7. I live in Talkeetna, so the northern western part of the borough is the area that I would potentially represent. I grew up on the small island of Wrangell in southeast Alaska, so I'm from a rural community, and I'm looking forward to having a rural perspective in representing District 7. Small schools are different, and there's a lot of large schools that have the big powerhouse in the governing of our district, so I would be excited to advocate for the small schools and having our voices be louder in comparison to the rest of the district. Let's see, I'm a mother to 2 children that are high schoolers at Sioux Valley High School, and my husband is a mechanic also in construction. He is in the local 302 union, so the trades through his mechanic occupation and union voices are also really important to me. As well as being a mom, I am a teacher at the University of Alaska Anchorage. I teach in the culinary arts department. So the arts as well as trades are the backbone to our way of life in our family. A few things that I'm focused on in my campaign for school board is beyond rural representation, is student, parent, and teacher voices. I feel like they're underrepresented on our current board. And I also would advocate for the return of a student member position to be reinstated. And then lastly, in the few seconds remaining, is fiscal stability. And by that, I mean having a plan in place to create a longevity of our funding of our schools, including drawing students back in who have run away from our policies towards homeschools out of district. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, who's next? I need you guys to raise your hands so our mic folks know. Thanks, Gage.
Thank you. Much like being in an airplane, I chose the aisle so I wouldn't have to do any of that. My name is Gage Saxton. Hello. I am running for the Mat-Su School Board in District 2. That's this district, Greater Palmer. I have been living in the Mat-Su since 2010. I was raised from birth in Utqiagvik, Alaska, otherwise known as Barrow. My parents are right here, actually. They're here to witness the results. But I met my wife up there, and we got married. And once we started having kids, we were like, we need more resources. And my wife got a job down in Wasilla. She is the children's librarian for Wasilla Public Library. And so we moved down here, and it's been our home since 2010. I've been living in Palmer in our first home since 2015. And so that's us. For me, as far as career goes, I'm a lifelong musician and producer. I've made a lot of music for myself and friends and things like that. To pay the bills, because music doesn't always pay the bills, my other career has been in customer service and in accounting. I've worked for a nonprofit telecom up on the slope. And there's a lot of problem solving with people's cell phones and internet and their billing needs, things like that. Especially around COVID time, it got very interesting with people who couldn't afford anything and they were still being billed for internet services and things like that. So solving problems, making sure people are staying on budget at home and in the workplace, very important to me. So the things that I am running for, I will just list the, that was a fast 2 minutes. Top two goals would be increased pay for teachers. I want to see increased pay for teachers and benefits, and fully subsidized breakfast and lunches for all students. That's a goal for me as well. So thank you for your time, everyone.
Okay, who do we see next? I saw Max Sumner's hand in the back. Okay. You're going to have to, yeah.
Is this on? Okay. I won't take up too much of your time because I don't have an opponent, so I'm sure most of you didn't come here to listen to me, but sorry for being at the back. I was born in Palmer, raised in the Valley, graduated from the school district. I left for college for a few years, came back, started a construction company. I met my wife in Wasilla. We have 2 small children. So you can imagine, I have a couple of young children that I plan on raising here, and I have a construction company here. I have a vested interest in making sure this community has good schools and a good economy. So, I mean, that's kind of my platform, if you will. I want to keep government small, and I want to, keep property rights uninfringed. So I'm here for any questions, and that's really all I got to say.
Thank you. Who's next? Oh, I see Dana and I see Kendall over here on the left side. I'm sorry, Dana, could you raise your hand again? Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dana. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Moved to Alaska in 2001.
Dana, could you hold on for 1 second? Okay. You want to go back? That's okay. So right here. We don't need a dictionary. Okay. There we go. Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry, Dana. Go ahead.
My name is Dana. Moved to Alaska in 2001, started up in Fairbanks, stayed there for about 6-7 years. Then I moved over to Dillingham and King Salmon.
We can't hear him.
And then we went down to King Salmon. Then we came back here in 2012 to Palmer. And I bought a house here in Palmer right behind the fairgrounds. I work telecom. I do network engineering. I bring the internet to Alaska and also with the submarine cables going down to Seattle. What I see with the government is the Mat-Su Borough government is actually pretty good, but we have tremendous growth that needs to be taken care of. We need to keep ahead of that. The other problem is we need to work on making sure our parents are protected and that we have a vibrant community that's growing with the people. So, hi.
Thank you. I saw Kendall's hand. She's also here.
Hello, my name is Kendall Cruz. I am over District 2. I'm currently serving on the Mat-Su School Board and have been for the last 3 years. I've lived in Alaska since 13 years. I'm not sure when we moved. My husband is in construction, big theme. He builds hospitals all over the state and the rural clinics, and we met in Nome. I moved there to take a summer internship and then eventually a job, and we got to live there and travel to all the villages. Rurally was tough, so when we had kids, we decided to move where there was more services and things we could do. And we now have 4 children with 1 on the way. Education became a second passion of mine for my family because I had all these little children, and I worked part-time from home doing counseling and as a medical professional so that I could be home and educate my kids and spend time with them. And that really fostered a deep love for teaching kids how to do things and skills, and it started from a really young age, and then I just continued to study more and take classes on early education. I got involved with the school district or started paying attention around the COVID years because as a health professional and watching what was happening, I was really concerned. I was concerned about the kids' mental health and what was going to happen with their education in general. And so having tiny little children, I'm well aware that learning on a computer all day is really rough. So I started to get involved and pay attention and go and advocate for children. And I ended up running, and really what my priority is the students. When you look at the data over the last several decades, it's not just here, but in the nation, our proficiency scores are continuing to trend down. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but, oh, darn it, I messed up. But thank you. I'll talk to any of you about it later.
Thank you, Kendall. We have Michelle here in the front of the room, who is not yet gone. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Michelle Hune, your Borough District 1 candidate. I'm a 43-year Alaska resident, 33 of those years spent in my District 1 home. I raised all my sons here. They attended Butte Elementary, Palmer Middle, and Palmer High School. After they were older, I returned to college, still working full-time, and I obtained degrees from the University of Alaska Anchorage in sociology, gerontology, the study of aging, and Alaska Native Studies. I'm a supervisor and 10 years with the State Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. I own and operate a lodge as a licensed big game transporter, and in the off-season, I'm a certified nurse aide, and I provide in-home care. I have decades of volunteer time with youth and adult local and state organizations, such as the 2024 Mat-Su Arctic Games that were here. I currently serve as secretary to the Mat Valley Fish and Game Advisory Committee, and I also am part of a position on the Big Game Commercial Services Board, and I chaired the Transporter Subcommittee. I'm a business sponsor to Resident Hunters of Alaska and the South Central Chapter Alaska Trappers Association. I'm also a member of the Matanuska Valley Sportsman Shooting Range and the National Trappers Association. I'm a contributor to the United States Military Academy of West Point Association of Graduates. I hunt, I fish, I shoot, I hike, I snowshoe, I watch rugby, I love college football, I love college baseball, and softball. I'm excited for this opportunity, Matsu Sentinel, and I appreciate the venue. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Lori here? Is Lori here? Ah, there you are, Lori. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lori Coley, and I am running for Matsu School Board District 7. I live in Houston, Alaska. I am formerly a Canadian, but now a proud American citizen since 2013. I've lived in Alaska since 2003. I've been a registered nurse for 33 years, and I work in administration. With administration comes a lot of responsibilities. Roles like accountability, fairness is essential. We learned how important it is to listen and lead with integrity and make decisions that put people first. I believe every student deserves a safe, supportive environment where they can learn the basics, reading, writing, and critical thinking, and also discover and inspire them. Whether it's academics, the arts, or the trades, not every child learns the same way, and our schools should reflect that. I am also running because I believe parents deserve a voice at the table. Strong schools start with strong families and communities working together. As a board member, I'll focus on transparency, fiscal responsibility, and keeping the focus where it belongs, on the students in the classroom. I love this community, and I want to ensure that the schools prepare every student to succeed, no matter what path they take after graduation. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you so much. Okay, last but not least, we are going to hear an introduction from Borough Manager Mike Brown. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Mike, I'm so sorry. The other Mike. I'm sorry. This is what I get for not looking at my list. I apologize.
That's all right. It's not the first time I've been forgotten. So, thanks for having me. My name is Mike Bowles, Michael Bowles. I'm running for Assembly District 1. So I'm your conservative candidate. I wear that on my sleeve. There's no guesswork with me. There is no ambiguity with me. So I'm running. What got me off the couch was in our area. I live off the Kinnick River, and in our area there was an effort that was being made to bring in a SPUD. If you're not familiar with that, please look it up. Basically what it does is it brings in retroactive zoning laws. So somebody that lives down somewhere for 20, 30 years, this document comes in and it basically tells somebody what they can and can't do on their property. So I had a problem with that, and a lot of us had a problem with that, and I led the effort to get that shot down, and that's what got me off the couch. And in doing so, I started putting in applications for various boards and commissions, and our mayor graciously put me on the Fifth Pharmacy. What that means is I run the Board of Pharmacy at the executive level for the state of Alaska. I live and breathe Robert's Rules of Order, statutes, and regulations. I help the board write regulations and move them forward to the lieutenant governor for signature. I also craft statutes. I'm not involved in that process, of course. Our legislators are involved in that process. So I am extremely qualified to be in this position. This is what I do for a living. Issues that are important to me. So taxes. We're going to talk taxes tonight. I am 100% against this fuel excise tax. I don't like excise taxes. All excise taxes are sales taxes crafted in a different way, and they remove your right, we the people, our ability to veto that tax. All taxes should be on the ballot. We should have the ability to vote for or against all taxes. I understand that we have a lot of debt. And our manager and our assembly are doing a great job in addressing that. I think it can be done differently, and there's my time. So please come find me, and if you'd like to talk about that more. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. And I'm sorry again for forgetting you. But now we have the other Mike, Mike Brown. Okay, so Mike is not a candidate. He is the borough manager. But because we have a fuel excise tax, as was just mentioned, on our ballot as an advisory vote, I've asked Mike here to tell us a little bit about that. So you get 2 minutes too, sir.
Great, thank you. And Amy brought me here to make sure she knew what the bottom of the barrel topic would be. I got it. All right, so I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on the fuel excise tax. It's an advisory question on the ballot. And really, I just want to talk about why. Why was a fuel excise tax introduced? Because regardless of where we find ourselves after the ballot proposition, the challenges that we have with debt management will still be there. And so what's happening through school bond debt reimbursement, today that's about $15 million a year. In the next decade, that will be zero. That is a cost transfer from the state of Alaska to local municipalities. And it has a huge impact on a community that is growing. And so that was part of what originated this. The other piece is it really is about avoiding future debt. That was what we were setting out to do, is come up with a revenue that could help us continue to move road improvements forward, but do it without bonding and taking on debt obligations. Today, that's about 12% of our annual spend, debt. Over the next decade, that could be as much as 1/3. That could really infringe on the choices that we have as a community for services and improvements. So it's a 7 cents per gallon tax is the proposal, with a 50-50 split that the revenue would go 50% to property tax relief, 50% to road improvements. Not too bad.
Oh, good job. All right. And I will, Michelle, I'll take that mic from you, or do we have another mic up here? Okay. There we go. Okay. Thank you all for those introductions. It's a big borough, and hearing from you all and in a forum like this is really helpful. It helps people know who you are, recognize you, understand where you're coming from. It's great. So, speaking of where you're coming from, we are now going to move into our second part, where we're going to do our live interactive polling, okay? So you can share your thoughts. And joining me for this section is Tim Rocky, Palmer's own Tim Rocky. So many of you might recognize him from his day at the Frontiersmen. He's all grown up now. That is off, so you have to turn it on. Okay. And now he's spent some time producing Alaska News Nightly at Alaska Public Media in Anchorage, and he is currently the Anchorage Daily News education reporter. Tim, we sort of forgive you for moving to Anchorage, but welcome back tonight. And let's give him a round of applause. I'm going to sit down. We're going to be casual. We're sitting down, okay? So, instead of tackling a scattershot of issues around the borough, as I mentioned, our live polling tonight is going to focus on the issue I've seen through my reporting that is the hottest topic and, of course, is on your ballot, and that is paying for stuff, all right? So whether that is funding local government operations or our schools, funding is money out of pockets, and it's expensive and necessary, and it really is, yes, as Mike mentioned, we have this debt reimbursement concept going on, but really at the end of the day, this is money coming out of taxes, okay? So that funds our local government, all right? So let's talk about it, all right? Now, I want to say one more time, we do have a lot of seats here in the front, so if you're standing in back without a seat, Tim doesn't bite. I've never seen him do it. So you guys can come up here a little bit if you need to. Okay, so before we get to talking about taxes, I want to make sure that we're all good to go with our polling system, all right? So you've got the code up here where you can tap that QR code if you need to or enter info. And if you need help, we got lovely volunteers who are helping us, and they'll do their best. There we go. Okay, so now you can. One person is not ready. Well, if you need help, you raise your hand, and we're going to help you get ready. Okay, and may I recommend visiting our beverage people? Okay. Okay. So that's how you do it. All right. Great. That worked great. Okay, Tim, are you ready? But it's innovative. It's fun.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, now he's ready. All right. Okay. So we can get after it. All right. So we're going to start this off with sort of an opening question that is not about funding. It's about what we like about Mat-Su, okay? I assume that because we all live here, we all like it at least a little bit, okay? So this is going to be the only one in which you're going to enter an answer of your own accord, okay? In one word, what do you love about Mat-Su? There we go. Okay, so Tim, what do you love about Mat-Su?
All of Alaska is beautiful. I myself am partial to Pioneer Peak, the Talkeetna Mountains. How about beauty? Is beauty a word that works? Show me beauty on the board. Mountains. Right. I win, right?
There we go. Okay.
What's my prize?
My word I also see up there is community. I really love our community. I love the people who come to events like this. I love writing news for you all. I love talking to you. I love our community. So that is, I love that we can solve common problems over drinks and snacks. I love that, okay? So as I said, tonight we are going to talk about government and school funding. And we're going to start with a focus on the borough, okay? We're going to split it in half. And our first question is one of ranking. It's not multiple choice, it's rank them, okay? So you are going to pick them, tap them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever, and it's going to all go ducks in a row on there, okay? And so here is our first question. If the borough had an extra $100 to spend, where should it go? Now, some of you might be thinking, pay down the debt. No, that's not on the slide, okay? These are your options. These are some of the things that the biggest costs of the borough that are funded by property taxes that are paid for by every borough property owner. Yes, our schools are primarily funded by the state, but they also receive the largest slice of Matsu property taxes of any single program. So they are up there as well, all right? So we'll give you a second to rank those. And Tim, your specialty right now is schools. Do you hear that's a priority for funding for people in your reporting?
I hear that quite a bit, and there are multiple bites of that apple, multiple takes. You know, some folks are very concerned that the amount of money spent on schools is too much for the amount of performance that our students put out on standardized tests. Other folks really want more money for schools and believe that that would be helpful for improving those test scores. So funding is a hot topic for schools in Alaska, not just this year, not just last year, has been for some time, and until folks in Juneau make a decision, it probably will be into the future.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So people are still, are we comfortable? Are we good? Okay. That's interesting. I love writing about roads. If you ever read my newsletter, you know how much I love writing about road stories, okay? I talk about it. I mention that I love writing about roads all the time. And here's why. They matter to people, to you and to me. We drive on them. They matter. It's like the one thing that impacts your every single day life is our roads. It is a universal common problem that we can all get behind agreeing, like, yes, XYZ road is really bad or whatever, okay? That's one of the reasons I love writing about it. So I love that that's the answer. All right. Okay, so now that we've heard about how you think money should be spent, let's talk about where that funding should come from, okay? Roads, schools, public safety, all of it costs money. In Matsu, as I mentioned, and as Mr. Brown mentioned, funding from residents like us now comes mostly from property taxes, okay? So, and by the way, tonight I'm going to be making some very big, like, sort of top-level overview of some things instead of getting really down in the nitty-gritty with numbers and stuff. I trust that that's okay with you because this is a community discussion. We don't want to be here all night, all right? So most of it comes from property taxes. Much smaller amounts each year come from a hotel room tax, which is called a bed tax. We have a marijuana tax. We have tobacco taxes, all right? But property tax is the big guy, okay? One idea to diversify away from that, as Mr. Brown mentioned, is the motor fuel excise tax, okay, gas tax. And the idea there is, of course, to be able to fund road improvements without putting more and more pressure on property taxes, property owners. So that brings up the big issue of the fact that property taxes are kind of it for funding the things you just identified as priorities, roads, schools. So here's a question, all right? Should the borough find different ways to fund local needs beyond property taxes? And for this one, we're going to get innovative, all right? I'm going to ask you to stand from your seats, and that is because I know that these seats are very hard, okay? So we're going to vote with our bodies. Try not to kick over any drinks, all right? Okay? Stand up, please. All right, yes, you know how to do it. Okay, so you're going to move to the side of the room with which you agree, all right? If you think that we need a different kind of tax, like just to be innovative and come up with a different thing, go to your right, okay?
So stage left.
Yes. And if you think that everything is fine and we shouldn't change and we don't need to do that, go over here to my right, to your left. Yeah. Okay. So We are standing to your right if you think that we should find different ways to do it, and to your left if we don't. This seems like an overwhelming majority of people think that we need a different idea.
Sometimes you got to do something different, you know. Taxes are typically a dirty word in many political circles, but when you want government services, how else can you fund that?
When we're already paying them. So this is not about more taxes, it's more about ideas. Okay. Thank you. This is very, very informative. Everybody can go back to your seat and still don't kick a drink. Okay, does that surprise you, Tim?
I don't know that it surprises me, but, you know, the follow-through on that idea would be the important part. Everybody loves a new idea, but if that idea doesn't work, people might stop loving it.
There's that. Okay. So thank you for trying that with me and for being willing to get out of those terrible hard seats. All right, I appreciate that. I get a more comfortable one up here tonight. I'm lucking out. Okay. So our next slide is instructions, in case you wandered off and don't remember how to do this. We're gonna have instructions several times tonight because I don't want anyone to miss out on participating. Okay? So everybody good? We're ready? Okay, awesome. So the next one is a multiple choice question, so we can dive a little deeper, okay, and give our assembly candidates and the borough manager some feedback, all right? So we're gonna have to make some choices right now. Which other revenue sources should the borough consider, okay? Now, you notice what is not up there is cutting spending. I'm going to make an assumption that all of us think that we should not be wasting money on things and we should be discerning about that, okay? So this isn't about cutting spending. This is about, or spending more. This is only about moving away from property taxes as the big daddy of our local funding, okay? That's it. So here are some options for you. We have gas tax, which is on the ballot as an advisory vote. Alcohol tax, which, you know, self-explanatory. Gravel tax, something voters have tackled before. You might have remembered seeing that on your ballot. General sales tax, tax on everything. Summer sales tax, or seasonal tax on tourist season. Those guys, okay. Love them, hate them, combo. And then other. And then nothing. I added that today because I wanted to give the nothing people an option. But I mean, I respect you, you know, that's your opinion, it's cool.
And invite the nothing people to host the event with you.
Yeah, you can only choose one. This is multiple choice. Okay, all right. So we have some folks who have picked other, and I'm hoping that you are willing to tell us what those other things are. We've got folks with mics. If you are somebody who picked other and you're willing to give us 1 or 2 words of what you mean by that, would you raise your hand? Here we go. We got one guy. She's going to hold that mic. She's not giving it up. Is it on? Here.
I would say marijuana.
Okay. Higher marijuana tax. Okay, back here.
Yes, I would say revenues from natural resources and royalties.
Okay. Other than gravel. Other natural resources other than gravel. I got you. Anyone else? Okay. One more in the back. Oops.
Dedicated temporary sales taxes like they did with Wasilla and built a sports center, a new cop shop, and a library.
Got
and
it.
When the building is done, the tax goes away.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Appreciate that. All right. I do have time for one more. Got a hand up there. Sebastian's got you.
Occupancy tax, so for like homes that are used for Airbnb that are unoccupied by primary owners.
Got it. Thank you. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to ask our assembly candidates to come up here and answer this question too. They're going to you guys are just going to pass the mic. I'm going to give you a mic and you're just going to, come on, don't be afraid. Come up to the front. Come on. We're going to just pass the mic down the line. If Mike and Dana, if you would join us over here. We'll just pass the mic down the line, okay? So this is just the order in which they were received, guys, all right? And they had this question in advance, so they knew it was coming, okay? All right. So the question is, which other revenue source should the borough consider, if any?
Oh, you're handing it to me first. Oh. Okay. If the fuel excise tax advisory vote is passed by the voters, I would present a reduced rate down to 5 cents with a sunset clause. This would allow borough officials to evaluate whether capturing the revenue from sites that are visited to the valley is beneficial. If not, I would encourage finding further efficiencies within borough operations without reducing services out there.
Okay, assuming we're keeping the spending at the same level, okay, because we weren't talking about reducing spending. Okay, yeah, I think sin taxes are more palatable, you know, increasing the marijuana, the alcohol, tobacco taxes. I think a gravel tax is not a terrible idea because we do export a lot of gravel to Anchorage. I mean, I'm a home builder. I buy a lot of gravel, guys. Like, and I'm here telling you that I think that, you know, we could potentially tax our neighbor a little bit and not put it all in the backs of our property owners if we had a gravel tax.
I wouldn't support a sales tax because it is very hard to administer. It takes a lot of effort from the businesses. And so when you look at a fuel tax, you're only doing it on the distributors, and they're already doing it for Anchorage. So I look for taxes that are going to cost us a lot to administer. I push to put the fuel tax on the ballot because I think these are all choices, and it should be a community choice. So, you know, I might have an opinion that the fuel tax would have some benefits, but that is a choice we're making as a community. If you say we'd like to stick with property tax because we don't trust government, that is fine. So I'm trying to think of the other ones. Gravel tax is definitely something we could consider.
I would go for the natural resources, start to develop our natural resources out like in West Susitna, followed by the gravel and then sin tax.
All right, so I would repeal all excise taxes and sin taxes. I would get rid of the property taxes and the mill rate, drop it down to 0, and introduce the sales tax. This is because we are growing, and with people moving to the borough and all of this industry coming in with the West Susitna Highway, Port McKenzie, we can capture that. We can start that now, so then 15, 20 years, we're actually bringing in that revenue.
There you go. Thank you. And let's give them a round of applause for coming up here to the hot seat. Thank you so much, Anna. I lost my notes. All right, Tim, it's you and me again, buddy.
Sorry to hear that.
Okay, now we're going to shift over to school board and a couple school topics. All right, you ready? This is your area.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay, awesome. So, as you all know, and we mentioned earlier, schools receive most of their funding from the state, okay? But the borough also chips in funding. We've just talked about ways to diversify borough funding, so we aren't going to talk about that anymore, all right? Instead, let's talk about ways that you think the school district can spend the money that it has now, okay? So we talked about priorities earlier for the borough. Let's talk about priorities for the school real fast, all right? So, oh, and there's, in case you forgot, there was the thing again. Okay, which of these should be the district's top spending priorities? All right, and this is, yeah, you know what to do. Okay, so here's some different ways the school district spends money, and what is most important to you? Weigh in, all right? Only one.
Pick one.
Yeah, sorry. But that's good. Now I know for next time we need more, pick more than one. It's innovative, okay? I'm learning every moment that I'm up here. I know, it's hard. You're gonna have to pick. Now, academic achievement, what I meant by that was high test scores and all sorts of things that are way too long to put in 2 words up there, okay? So those are the words I ended up with for that option. Okay? All right, so we have a few people who have picked other, and I'd love to know what you mean by that. Does anyone want to volunteer what they meant by other in a couple words? There's at least 4 of you. You don't have to. In the corner there.
Pre-K, because it'll affect all the other ones.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Oh, back in the back. Green hat in the back. Thank you, Sebastian.
I don't know if it's really a top priority, maybe tongue in cheek, but school nurses and school sports. And
Okay. Yeah, those things cost money too. Anyone else? Oh, right up here in the front.
Yes, ma'am. Heavy, I'd say cut back on some of the administration, and with the savings you get there, you can push that back in.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Tim, what do you think about these priorities? What do you hear?
I think everyone wants to see students succeed would be my takeaway from this pretty broad set of results. You know, everybody wants their students to be able to graduate ready for the workforce, ready for college, ready for whatever that means. Special education, wide range of electives, those options also capture some students who are more interested in CTE, who need extra support, English language learners, folks with IEPs and 504 to see their students do really well.
Yeah. Does this jive with what you find in your reporting?
I find that everybody wants to make sure that their students are succeeding, and the way that our students are performing currently on our standardized tests, which there are debates about how useful those are and how accurate of a measure those are, but when we don't perform, folks want to see us do better. And so it makes sense that academic achievement would be the number one response tonight.
Yeah, really helpful. Thank you. So I mentioned we're not going to get creative ways to fund, but what we can talk about is how to keep more students here. So this has been something that's been discussed in the school board quite a bit, and school admin quite a bit over the last year, because we, in the borough, as I think I mentioned earlier, we are given funding by the state on a per student basis. As there's like this really complicated calculation that goes into that I will let somebody smarter than me in this room explain to you. But the top level is it is per student funding, okay? So right now, about 3,000 Matsu students, as of the last data I heard about, go to homeschool correspondent programs that are actually run by districts outside of our district. They're not Matsu district schools, okay? So that funding, that per student funding, is going to those other districts, all right? So one of the discussion points is how do we make staying in our district schools, our own district's correspondent schools, which would be Matsu Central, Connect Charter has a correspondent school, as does Twinley Bridge. How do we make that more attractive to families who are here? What do we want to do to make our schools more attractive, okay? So that's a long explanation for that because I want you to understand why we are asking you this question, all right? This is a question about what is important to you as community members and parents, if that's you, taxpayers, to keep our students here in the district. What are some changes, if any, that we should make to do that? So this is another ranking question, okay, where you get to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I can count, all right? And to rank the things that are most important to you. Oh, I'm sorry.
CTE is career and technical education, job training in schools.
Yeah.
Think
so
Career
yes.
Tech High School, Wasilla High School also has the NC3 program. A lot of CTE programs.
Exactly. And flexible scheduling. This is something that, when I was sort of testing these questions over the last couple weeks, heard some feedback on, that a lot of parents are interested perhaps in flexible scheduling. So that's when the bus comes. That's when classes are available. You know, is that, does your high schooler want to go to evening classes? Do they, because they have a part-time job? Do you want flexibility in when class times are? And so we put that in here as well. And of course, we in our district have the highest graduation requirement in the state. So that's something that we could make it higher, we can make it lower. It's changeable, right? All of these things are changeable things. And finally, I want to mention, as you're still ranking, that improving school facilities is on here. But if you voted in our last election here in the borough, you were faced with a ballot proposition about building new schools. And for specifically, but that's what that's about, right, is improving school facilities overall by having, moving those schools out of rented buildings or leased spaces or spaces that really need some help. So, okay, so more CTE programs. All right, I love seeing that at the top. I don't have an other on this. Yeah, I know. I really wanted to, I wanted to rank it, and other's hard to rank. So, Tim, what do you see out here?
One of the statistics that I think is telling of this is that over 90%, I think it's 96 statewide, of students that take a CTE concentrator. That's the second class in a row in one subject matter for that, whether it be, welding, wood shop, culinary. Students that take a second one of those classes are 96% likely to graduate. And schools are very invested in making sure that those students graduate. And when they're invested in a CTE program, they're more likely to be invested in, math, science, social studies, that type of thing. So it makes sense that CTE is very popular, and also, of course, parent choice. As charter, homeschool, correspondence, alternative schools are growing and serving more needs of more students, more folks are finding out that they like that, and they don't necessarily like their traditional neighborhood brick and mortar schools. Sometimes, obviously, those are the predominant option, but adding CTE programs to those neighborhood public schools, I think it is fair to say, has been broadly popular.
And I heard some interesting information last night at the school board meeting about this. Have several school board members in the room, so they can fill you in. But our district superintendent, Ms. Dr. Randy Trainey, presented information about the graduation rate affiliated with just what you're saying with the CTE. That in our district, that those students also have the highest graduation rate by a significant amount. And so, but thinking back to being in high school, who among us does not want to take a CT? Okay, so we're going to have the school board candidates come up and answer this question, just like we did with the assembly. You guys can come up now, and Tim and I will scooch out of the way, and I'll give you this microphone, and you can pass it down the line. So don't be shy. Come on up, please, if you don't mind, and get in a row here. And I'm just going to hand it off to the person closest to me. And we'll go down the line. You have 30 seconds just like last time, okay? And your question is, what is the best way for your district to keep students enrolled in Matsu? And Dina?
Is there 30 seconds ready? 30 seconds. Great. Okay, this is a very strong issue, or something I'm very focused on. I have 2 high schoolers, and both of them are required to take a very specific class called AP Seminar in order to graduate. No ifs, ands, or buts. And I am realizing that a lot of my high school friends and family are seeking other options than the really narrow path to a high school diploma besides succeeding at a college level, and they're going to other districts. And so for me, the 3 issues between parent choice and being able to have courses that parents and families feel are best for their kids and not what the district tells them is really important.
Possible. Aside from that, I would say I picked for one of my important ones is flexible scheduling, particularly in regards to the school buses, making sure they're more accessible, they're more reliable. And I would say my recommendation of seeing about subsidizing meals for kids is also going to be a good draw.
I think it's really important that we make connections with our kids in classes, make them feel supported, make them feel heard. Our kids are looking for alternative education. The trades are great. I can speak for it myself. I put a son through school who couldn't make it in mainstream school. Matsu Central was a perfect place for him. He's now a top-notch heavy equipment mechanic. And if it wasn't for that program, I don't know where we'd be.
I think there's 2 things that we could focus on, and one is student achievement. Parents choose different schools and school districts based off of test scores and environment of the school. And the second one that specifically addresses the 3,000 to 4,000 students that live in the Valley that go to other homeschool programs is to make our homeschool program the best homeschool program, the most competitive. And if we do those 2 things, I think that nearly all of the people who are choosing that are going to come back to the borough.
Thank you so much. All right. Are we going to dance, Tim? Is that what's going to happen now? Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for coming up and getting in that hot seat again. All right. So this is the last time you're going to see the instruction. I think you've got it now, but I wasn't sure when I was making this slide, okay? So I trust you. We're doing good, okay? I am so grateful to the candidates for spending their time this evening with us. I know that all of you are busy and that you're all coming here and trying something new with me, so thank you very much for doing that. I really appreciate that, and I know the people in this room appreciate it too. we've spent this evening sort of flipping the script, as I say, and giving candidates and officials a chance to hear from you. And so this last question is designed to keep that conversation going. And this is a final ranking question. So it's pick more than one. You're going to put them in the order that you like them the most. And they're in order 1 through 4. And this is, what's the best way for officials to continue to hear from you, to continue to get your feedback and hear your thoughts? So here are some options, okay? You have more commenting at meetings, so that's like more open meeting comment time. More community events like this one, or like the gas tax open houses that the borough manager has been hosting around the borough. More ballot questions, like ask the voters what they think, put it on the ballot, get folks out to vote. And then finally, more online surveys and digital tools where you can just weigh in on your own time online. So those are the options. Let's see what people say. Tim, what do you hear about folks giving feedback? What do people like that you've seen in your reporting?
I think people like to be heard. I think people like to know that their concerns are being listened to by their elected officials. And my reporting involves a lot of public comment, so if there were more of that, maybe I would have more work to do. Who knows? But online surveys and digital tools can be impersonal, and I think sometimes it's really good to have face-to-face communication with the folks who represent you, which is why this is such a great event, Amy.
Well, thank you.
Good job.
I was not fishing for a compliment, but I will take it. All right, that's good. Okay, so as a final thing tonight, Tim and I are going to get out of the way. I'm hoping that the candidates have seen this, and our borough officials here, school board officials have seen this, and can use this information to help them, this question and all the questions. But now we're going to give the candidates a chance to just reflect on what they heard tonight and give final statements, anything they want to say to you last. So our mic runners still have their mics, yeah? And you know who the microphone or who the candidates are now, okay? And so we're going to let them weigh in, and Tim and I are going to move out of the way so you're not looking at us while that's happening. Okay. We don't have a specific order for this, but if you could start with Kendall, because I know that she needs to leave. She has a highly relatable babysitter situation that we've all, who among us have not faced that, who has kids? So. Kendall, you go ahead, and then we'll just popcorn around the room like last time. Thank you.
I appreciate everyone coming here and being invited. This was really wonderful and a really interesting new way to do it. I really believe that our focus should be on student achievement. Decades of decline have kind of been accepted. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I see Gage's hand up.
Since I'm closest to Kendall.
Go ahead.
Be safe getting home. I just want to thank everyone for showing up, for taking part of this. I want to thank the Matsu Sentinel and Big Cabbage Radio, and Tim as well for coming up, and everyone helping out with this. It's really great to see, really encouraging to see. Just want to hit my bullet points that I'm running for. First is higher pay for teachers. Would love to improve the benefits as well, but higher pay definitely is a good start. 2, I would like to see about fully subsidizing all breakfasts and lunches for all students. I think, the studies show other places around the country and around the world are doing this, and they show that it is possible and that it is fundamental to the success of students, especially the ones who are in the worst economic shape. After that would be restoring student representation. It's vital that our students understand how government should be working and that they have a voice in the process. 4th on the list would be making a priority to fund school repairs, not waiting for Fed and state dollars, that we actually make a priority to solve leaking roofs and things like that. If I were to add a fifth at all, it would be improving the accessibility and reliability of transportation. So that is all for me. If you have any questions, come see me. I have cards. I'm accepting donations. If you want to read in depth about where I stand on issues, my Facebook page, my campaign Facebook page, Gage Saxton for Mat-Su School Board, is where I am linking all of those things. So thank you all for your time.
Okay, who is next? Got to give the mic back, Gage. Okay, who wants to go next? I got Stephanie here. Are you ready? All right. You looked ready.
Don't need my glasses on. I thought the last question was really interesting, and I'll stick around for people to talk to. I think one thing you have to do as assembly members, you have to get out in the community. People don't have time to, I'm amazed everybody took the time to come to this meeting. I really appreciate it. And if you want to talk, please stick around. But you got to get out and you got to talk. You got to go into businesses and say, hey, how are things working for you? When I get my coffee, I'm like, I have conversations with my barista. And, she struggled with affordable housing. When I go talk to people at their doors, what they talk about is, my kid can't walk safely to school and there's not lighting. People seem generally happy, but they're really frustrated with government as a whole. And they're looking, they don't feel like they're listened to. Government doesn't work for them. So a big part for me as an assembly member, as your assembly member, is being there to listen. And there's a lot of labels, but when you come to me for help, I'm going to answer the phone. And the things I get asked about are potholes. And why is my road built this way and it shrunk my driveway? And the train is blocking my road and it's got the signal going for 2 hours at a time. Bong, 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 bong. And can we do something about our senior center? And so I'm just really passionate about being a voice for the community. I don't look to shove anything down people's throats. A big part for me is making sure that the general community is on board, because like with the fuel tax, we could implement it at assembly, but you need to build that trust with the community. And that's why I said put it out on the ballot. For me, fiscal responsibility is super important. Bringing more high-paying jobs. We got 30% of the community to Anchorage. We can afford to live here, but not to work here. I've been working on that with the C-PACER program. I've been working on that with pushing with healthcare transparency. I could go on and on, but there's all sorts of big things we work on and all sorts of small things. And you need an assembly member who's going to work and dig into those details, and I'll stick around.
Thank you. All right, who is next? Okay, Dina, thank you.
I do want to ditto and say thanks to everyone who came out. This is a really important part of our democratic process, is voicing your concerns. So thank you. And I was really impressed by the variety of results in a lot of the questions, but also the commonality. And what I hear echoed throughout tonight completely is choice. And parent choice when it comes to schools. Again, I'm running for school board in District 7. And one of the main ways that we can offer choice is by reducing our graduation requirements, because right now with the graduation requirements, we are requiring students to take 25.5 credits, but they can only earn 27. I believe that's the correct number. So they have very little wiggle room to choose what they want to do. Instead, it is very scripted on this is what you have to take. Also, offering choices to the community, like, did you like Late Start Mondays? How does that affect you? Do you like the different programs that we're offering at your school? I'm from an area where we have very little choice of which school to go to. We cannot go to Career Tech. Thankfully, Sioux Valley does have a wide variety of CTE. Just these types of structures where the school district can do a bit better by offering the opportunity for public feedback and really harvesting what the public is saying, I think is an area that we can improve. Again, I also will just highlight my campaign focuses. It's rural representation. Being in a small area, the small schools get overlooked easily, and so being a strong voice. Having a more choice, whether it's for students or parents, to draw families back to our district. A homeschool out of Galena only requires the state minimum. I understand that our school board doesn't think that that's very amazing right now. I agree. That's not very amazing to have just the minimum be the most attractive option, but for some families it is. Thank you for your time and safe travels home tonight.
Thank you. All right, who is next? All right, Michelle, do you want to go? Right here in the front. Thank you.
What I heard tonight is pretty much on my flyer. And I just want to say District 1 is mile 1 to 8, the Old Glen Highway, South Connect River Road, Butte, Lazy Mountain, Fishhook, Buffalo Mine, Soapstone, Sutton, and Chickaloon. For those that are not clear, it's the beautiful east side of the valley. I'm running for Mat-Su's Assembly to ensure decisions and values reflect those of the people that live here. I believe in listening first, researching, standing up for taxpayers, and finding responsible financial solutions that'll benefit everyone. I approach budgeting the same way we all do at home, carefully, responsibly, with an eye toward long-term stability. As an owner of 2 small businesses, I bring fiscal responsibility and common sense to the service of my community. I've spent decades building relationships all over the Mat-Su and Alaska. I see the responsibilities of an assembly member more important than any political affiliation. In local government, things can move fast and always not in the right direction. Sometimes the discussions necessitate deliberations that come with hard decisions. I won't back down, and I will always look for the best plan for our borough's future. I know our challenges. I live them alongside you, committed to keep our borough safe, education choices for parents and children, and a place we're proud to call home. I have flexibility, and I'm committed to work for you full-time. On my website is a link called Dispatch, Keeping Up with Michelle. I've been working toward learning the borough government since March. It'll tell you month by month what I've attended, where I've gone, and what I've been doing. I ask for your vote to help keep our community on the right path and keep our valley a great place to live. And thank you, Mat-Su Sentinel.
Thank you. Okay, I've got Max Sumner so conveniently located next to somebody holding a microphone. So, Max, would you go next? Thank you.
I think the mic actually found me, but thanks everyone for coming. Thanks, Amy, for putting on a great event. It's interesting that we were talking about taxes and much better turnout than Mike's open houses. I think you're a little more popular than him right now, but because taxes, I think it's missing a letter. It's probably a 4-letter word, not a 3-letter word. But I mean, it is important to figure out how you're going to pay for the services that people agree that they need. I mean, you saw everyone wants roads, everyone wants schools. How are we going to pay for them? Yeah, I guess that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Okay, I know we have missed Mike and Dana. Oh, Dana already has the mic in hand, and then we'll move to Lori. All right, go ahead, Dana.
First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody that shows up tonight. After the election in Palmer and Wasilla the other day with like 7% turnout, this is kind of nice seeing people engaged. So the reason why I'm running, I'm not a politician, I'm not even a public speaker. I'm from Brooklyn, I'm blunt, I don't speak too long. What I want to see is government needs to get out of the social issues. That belongs at the dinner table. That's for the parents, the people. That's not government. Government is for infrastructure, roads, police, border. That's what we need to do. The borough is growing, and we need to keep up with that. We want to bring in some jobs from Anchorage, bring them here. Let us become the hub, not Anchorage. We're growing. We want to keep our rural aspect as well. But, the reality is there's so many people moving here, we're not going to stay rural. So we need to adapt to that and look at it head on. So let's become a little economic hub. We got Port Mac coming up. We got the West of Sitna. Let us become the capital here, for the economics of the state. Let us be the powerhouse. Anchorage has got a lot of problems. Everybody from Anchorage is moving here. Let's bring the jobs here. This is a vibrant
school system, strong trade programs, strong school system, strong trade programs, strong careers. Let's make kids excited again in schools. I talked to some of my nurses at work who have kids in the school system here in the Valley. And the bullying, it's got to stop. We got to put an end to it. It's happening on our transportation. It's happening in our classrooms. And People want their kids in public school. They don't want them in home, but it takes all of us to do that. Not just the school board, not just the parents, the whole community needs to get involved to make the education system strong for our children. And that's all I have.
Thank you. All right, and Mr. Mike Bowles is next. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. So it's hard to talk about taxes in 30 seconds. I'll try to do it in the first minute. So I just wanted to kind of go back to that. So it's not as simple as just getting rid of all the tax and then bringing in a sales tax, right? So a more complex idea is to actually bring building assessments down. Get rid of building assessments altogether and go with what's called an LVT, or a land value tax. If you don't know what that is, please go look it up. And what that does is it removes a bulk of the property taxes. And then by repealing the excise tax as well and then instituting a sales tax, you actually broaden the tax capture. You get the transient people, you get the hospitality industry, you've got everything that's coming through the borough. So less burden on us, the residents, and our property, and more burden on those that are transiently moving through. And then 15 years, 20 years down the line, as we grow, we've already got that tax structure in place so we can capture that growth. Robust infrastructure comes on the backs of good industry. So it doesn't come on the backs of taxes. Any place you look at, Detroit, all these places, the Rust Belt, high taxes, people left. So that's where that idea comes from. So another area that I'm very concerned with is property right infringements. So there's been a lot of code the last few years that would come against us property owners and bringing in retroactive zoning laws. So that is something that I would never support. We do need planning. In the past, the borough has put the cart before the horse, and I believe that there is an opportunity here. Alex Strawn in the planning department has some great ideas. He's a very, very good planning director, and I think that right now the borough is putting the cart or the horse before the cart now. There's some great ideas out there as far as how to properly plan moving forward before shovels even break the dirt. So I think there's some very, very good things in place. We need to do it a little bit more conservatively. We need to pay down debt more and be patient right now, be more fiscally conservative, capture the future tax, and set things in place now so that when we get there, we're more financially successful. So.
Thank you. Okay, and as a final feedback, Mr. Mike Brown, if you want to give us your final thoughts, any reflections on your feedback or anything else you want to say?
I really didn't feel like I needed to, but now that you called me out, I will say we hear roads loud and clear. That's been the case for many years now. And really the fuel excise tax is a way to look at that. In the end, it's about building momentum to make those road improvements. And what we're saying is we're not sure that debt is the best way to do that. Regardless, there are some flyers out here if you want more information, facts, like what's happening. And I would just encourage everyone to get out and vote. Some of the voter turnout lately has not been awesome. So please consider getting out on Election Day. Thanks.
Thank you. And, and to Mr. Brown's point, is that going to beep at me? Okay. to Mr. because I don't have 2 minutes. To Mr. Brown's point, the advisory vote on the gas tax is on everybody's ballot. So every single person has a reason to go out and vote on Election Day, which is November 4th. And early voting, if I'm not mistaken, opens next Monday, right? Okay, yeah, I'm getting some head nods. Okay, early voting opens next Monday. So if you are a registered borough voter, there is something on your ballot, and you got to go and weigh in on that, just like you did here tonight, okay? I created Mat-Su Sentinel with residents, to give residents like you all a source of clear and connect the dots, fact-based news and information, and to create spaces just like this one for unbiased information and civic connection. And I hope that's what you found here tonight. None of this is possible without your support, without donating, without showing up, without reading, and being a part of our Mat-Su community. And I really appreciate everybody who took time with me tonight. You can see photos from tonight on Facebook in a couple of days. I'll have a recap tomorrow morning of this event. And I just want to thank you all for coming. Now, here's the deal. I hear a rumor, and it is that we have a lot of food and a lot of beer in the back. Okay, so some of you got here a little early. They're waving like crazy ladies back there, okay? So I'm sorry, some of you got here early. Some of you walked in right as we were starting, and you did not have a chance to visit our fine beer pourers, beer and wine folks back there, or hit up the food table. Please do that before you go, because somebody's going to have to take all that food home. And while I do have a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old boys, okay, they will eat the food, but don't make me take all of it home. Please eat some tonight, okay? I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank Bleeding Heart Brewery, 203 Kombucha, Hamilton Farms for donating drinks, and to the Health Foundation, for Matsu Health Foundation, for supporting the food tonight. They helped us out with that. This space was designed to give you a chance to, okay? Thank you so much for coming.